All right, coming up to our next speaker, Marco Valente from ICCIRA. You all have read the program, I guess. He is going to give us a case study on archaeology and tourism. So to have the cultural and environmental enhancement of sites of heritage interest. And there he'll have two places in Alentejo and Morocco. And Marco is the historical archaeologist and the vice chairman of the board of directors of ICCIRA. And we welcome you very warmly here today, Marco. Thank you very much for being with us. And I'll hand over.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, this wonderful opportunity. I had some issues with my PowerPoint, so I'll be talking about two journeys. So the first journey I'll be talking about, they're intertwined, is regarding ICCIRA. What is ICCIRA? So the International Cultural and Creative Industries Regulatory Authority is a non-profit, multi-selective and interactive think tank, research observatory, legislative and policy drafting, and legal advisory organization, currently relocating to Brussels in Belgium. ICCIRA was founded by Panayiotis Neufelt with the assistance of co-founder Christos Lawrence Neufelt Boris in March 2015. In the third UNESCO World Forum on Culture and Cultural Industries, Culture, Creativity and Sustainable Development, held in October 2014, Panayiotis Neufelt expressed his concerns regarding the lack of international, legal, and regulatory consistency in the global cultural and creative industries. ICCIRA is working in helping to solve these concerns. Also regarding data protection and handling issues, quoting Panayiotis Neufelt, data results represent the current trends not necessarily related to future needs, as dependencies changes and variable factors may dictate other approaches in terms of future expected conditions. Often policies are implemented when not needed anymore. There is a need for radical changes. I am not altogether sure if by reconceptualizing the creative and cultural industry's developmental ideas or evolution factors, taking into consideration current changes happening due to the pandemic or the international economic crisis, for instance, may lead to solving the long-standing problems that the performing arts or festivals and cultural actors locally and internationally have always faced. If this is the end of an era as we know it, having not defined and solved the old era mess, what we carry along as a burden at the dawning of this new era could be old habits of a meaningless past. ICCIRA, through a network of worldwide ambassadors, is able to listen locally to better acting globally. Also to contribute to the growth and development and to pave way for the future of international arts, culture, creative industries, and entertainment legislation and regulatory framework, ICCIRA needs to introduce a series of state-of-the-art technological tools. Neufelt's proposal brings innovative solution to the international legislature, focusing on the arts, cultural, creative, and entertainment industries, legal and regulatory framework, and environment with the use of artificial intelligence in combination to blockchain technology. I recommend on our viewers to follow up ICCIRA's work and joining in this journey too. So now I will be discussing a little bit about a dream. This started as a dream. There's an African saying that goes by, one dream dreamed alone is but a dream. One dream dreamed together is reality beginning. So for this archaeology and tourism case study on cultural and environmental enhancement of sites of heritage interest in Portugal and Morocco, I was discussing it with Panayiotis and the other members of ICCIRA because since a while ago, since several years, lots of sites in Alentejo, that's where I've been working since mostly 2007, are being destroyed, and no one seemed to care about these sites. So I saw that there was an opportunity in Castro Verde with some sites like a settlement of 17-acre old copper castle that was never duly excavated. No one used geophysics. So now we are having this opportunity to do so on the 17-acre settlement, 2 shrines and 8 Roman forts. So these will be basically the sites where we will be developing the project. Panayiotis and the other members of ICCIRA saw it as a possible case study that could be replicated worldwide, because some of the questions that we are facing here and the destruction that we are dealing here in Alentejo happened worldwide, on a worldwide basis. So on this early stage, we are still collecting images and data. We are doing some surveys on the field to see what there is and doing some filming on the sites. We had the opportunity to have some initial filmings with Dr. Manuel Maya, and Dr. Manuel Maya passed away last year. He was an archaeologist that did some initial surveys in the 1970s in some of these sites, but for most of them, they were never excavated. So there's lots of opportunities there. There are thousands of objects there with small stories just waiting to be told, and the communities around them to be raised awareness on the importance of those sites, of those objects from their ancestors. So we started doing the filming, and with a documentary production company, Fazemos Filmes, we are starting to film the elderly persons and all the inhabitants of the nearby locations of these sites. So actually we are filming, asking the consent of the legends, the prayers, the folks medicine, the song. The idea is to taking these films and selecting some to have on social media platforms, and creating a site, also blog and everything connected to it, and giving the opportunity of these people telling their stories on their language, Portuguese, but with subtitles in English or other language, so that anyone else in the world can also be acquainted with these stories. So there will always be the academic part of it. My PhD, other students that will work on their degrees, their masters and their PhDs too. But we are also very, our main concern is mostly directed to the communities, because we see that there's a lot to be done still with the communities to raise this awareness. We're joining in with more partners to the project. For instance, with ADPM, which is the Association for the Protection of Myrtle's Natural and Cultural Heritage. We've been gathering with them because they have a 200-acre property that they wish it to enter the ecosystem restoration camps, which is an organization that is restoring ecosystems worldwide. So I was speaking that we could do the ecosystem restoration camp there, create a school there, and also with the results from the excavations that we will be holding on the Roman forts, on the settlement, of the fauna and the flora, mostly the flora that we gather there, maybe we could do some archaeological experimental and trying to see that in Roman eras or Iron Age, people were using their resources probably in the most respectful way for the environment. And even recently, with the local communities, that they are now in their 60s and their 70s. They have lots of legends, they have lots of stories. They know how to work on the field. They know how to gather the plants from the field, how to prepare things from the field. And this knowledge is being virtually, and in reality, is being lost, because there's a need to film these people, to gather their knowledge, and to make them also believe in themselves. Because sometimes when we're gathering stories, sometimes we say, oh, we are elderly, no one cares to listen to us anymore. We're just waiting here to die. And then I see that I have this feeling that I need to make them see that their knowledge is fruitful. Their knowledge is needed for the next generations, because we've broken a little bit the connection between generations. There is a gap nowadays that this world is putting us through, because parents usually leave their children at school, the parents go to work, and then the elderly are kept in elderly homes. So the connection is broken in sometimes. So what we're trying to do here as well is trying to bring this connection back again, and to make people feel that their knowledge matters, for instance. Other things that we have been doing regards, for instance, with the WFTGA, we expect them to train and certify tourist guides for that will be needed for the cultural routes that will be created. For instance, with ICCIRA Heritage Revitalization Company, we are starting to work on creating routes regarding the Iron Age, Roman and medieval eras here in Alentejo, but also with the help of Qadi Ayad University from Marrakesh in Morocco. They were very excited in joining in and bringing in also their routes that they've already created, the green route, the blue route, and also the forts that they have and that they wanted to better and fully gather help in making them worldwide, and making their stories also come forward. So the knowledge of their researchers will be most important in helping us also to create this, not a single project, but like a communicating vessels of projects that this expects to be. So we expect to create international cultural routes too. Also from González Carrillo Studio, from Olivenza, for my friends there in Olivenza. They are doing the brand development of Ataejin. They're helping us creating the site, and also helping us on the social media pages that will be created, blogs, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So we're still working on that, collecting the images, collecting the films. So hopefully in the near future, we will start presenting a small documentary. The idea is to present a small documentary of the project and then go forward from there. Also from the past preservers in the UK, we wish to develop programs where families and groups or individuals can go to the sites and be like archaeologists for a day. Let's for instance, imagine that there's a family that wishes to go to do something different, and they see in a site, well, we can be archaeologists for a day in Portugal and help to excavate a Roman fort there. And then they can come, and also when they come, they visit other places, so they stay, so the intention will be to create more jobs and helping for the tourist guides and other cultural and creative industries actors to better understand what are the strengths of this project, what are the needs of this project. So actually we're counting on everyone to help to the communicating vessel of projects to move forward. So so far we're also gathering support from the University of Évora, where I'm conducting the PhD on these sites. So, but the intention is to help other students on doing their degrees, masters and PhD theses, and also creating a network of universities. Beside the University of Évora and Qadi Ayad University, we also have the interest of Viperian University in Romania, hopefully in the near future, with talks with the Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi in India. So this is a dream coming true little by little and step by step. So that's why I was saying at first that I came here to talk to you about two journeys, and one journey that is making one of these dreams possible. So we will try and use geophysics and study the ceramics, the stones, the fauna, the flora. Actually, what we will be doing is to gather all the things that we can to make this project a success. So we're counting on everyone, and we're counting on the WFTGA too. And I thank you all for listening for this little bit about these two journeys and two dreams that are just starting.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Walter. On behalf of all of us here in the room, and of course, on behalf of everyone online.
I'm not listening very well. You'll need that mic again.
Why is it me? Do you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, then I talk a bit lower, maybe. Okay,
fine.
First of all, I'm really sorry to all of our Portuguese-speaking colleagues. I know I mispronounced Alentejo because being here in Spain, I said Alentejo, no? So sorry for that, Alentejo. But thank you very much for these interesting stories. And of course, we as tourist guides, we are also part of the solution, as you've mentioned. So we also need to make sure that our sites are protected. But what you've highlighted as well in your presentation, what I found very interesting and very important was that it's not only sites like buildings or natural sites which get lost, but also knowledge. And this is very difficult to protect if there's no one to take over the knowledge from the elders. So I really much hope that we will get there somehow, and we can be of help as well as tourist guides for that. I just have a quick look into the chat to see, because I know that there's a question. Marco. What is the role ICCIRA wants us guides to take in the project? Well, that quite fits with what I've just said. You mentioned, I think, that you are also training tourist guides. So what kind of training is that? And yeah, what do you expect of all of us?
Well, actually, we're not start the training yet, but we're still working on the routes. So that there still be that work to be done, that preliminary work. And after we have the routes, what we expect from WFTGA will be to certify our tourist guides also as international, because there's an issue, for instance, regarding the other cultural actors. For instance, I recall a matter in England with a musician that wished to go to other parts of Europe to do his performing, and he was finding it difficult to go there because there is no credential, there is no visa for an artist from England, for instance, to be doing his works somewhere else. So I think that ICCIRA can help in having in fighting for gaining that visa, and also we could, by certifying these tourist guides, we could help them to be able to do their work not only here but somewhere else where they might find more adequate. Of course, we want to fix people here in Alentejo, because Alentejo was one of the poorest regions in Europe still, and we're losing inhabitants with in the latest years, and we need to make young people have future So the future may pass through this project that we are fighting for. So let's hopefully expect that future for everyone comes from this project too.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification. So I think we will have to discuss this also within the WFTGA. As you might know, that like a tourist guide, the definition is, of course, that we are locally specialized and we are not working somewhere else. So for artists, there might be a different possibility. We will need to talk about that, and this will be an interesting discussion, I think. I'm trying to figure out whether there are other questions, because we've got different channels. I hope you bear with me. I don't see any open questions in the chat nor in the Q&A session, but we've got one in the room, as I see. So Viola, would you like to pose your questions? We're just handing over the microphone.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Just a test that everybody can hear me. Thank you very much, Marco, as well, for your inspiring talk and picking up on the issue of creative profession finding it difficult to find employment. I mean, we absolutely agree with that, and we feel it as well as tourist guides. And to highlight that, as Sarah said, so we tourist guides, the profession, it's an area-specific qualification. You talked about the knowledge of the elders. And so we tourist guides are actually, if you want, we are the knowledge of a particular region, of a particular area. We are also the interpreters of the heritage, the culture and the natural heritage of that area. And therefore, kind of by definition, our profession is always area specific, because I think my head would burst if I had the knowledge and the heritage of the whole world in me. So coming back to helping young professionals to get into the tourist guide profession, I think all of our colleagues would suggest contact your local tourist guide association and start there. And then, through your local tourist guide association, come into the WFTGA family and, attend those events, and we can learn from each other. So it's more of an intervention rather than a kind of answer, rather than a question. But I just wanted to say to everybody, I find it so inspiring to be here together in a room, either in person or online, to talk about those issues, to talk about what we have in common, and also to find solution of how to go into the future and continue working in the creative professions we love.
Thank you, Viola. Yeah, Marco, would you like to add anything to that, or are you happy with our will to work together?
I'm very happy with your will to work together and all the advices you can give as well. And of course, I will contact the local tourist associations, of course. We will need them all. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for being with us today and giving us these examples of Alentejo. Well, I don't see anyone else coming up with a question, but of course the internet page, the website of ICCIRA is available. You can just Google for that. Otherwise it's ICCIRA.org, if I remember correctly. And then I would like to thank you again, Marco, and wish you a pleasant day. And we will go over to the closure of our president.
Thank you very much. All the very best.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for assisting with those Q&As. Before we go on to our closures, and we close the session with a last little preview of what's going on site, I just think that what Marco has mentioned has highlighted the importance of the sites and the roles that we as tourist guides play in protecting these sites. We are, at the end of the day, also protectors of heritage and culture and our sites.